with a couple of things. So my son and I watched these Netflix things. One was The Flash. We watched The Arrow. Whatever. They're superheroes, and they don't kill. The Arrow starts off killing, and then he decides he's not going to kill anymore. And The Flash, there was a handful of times where you can't help but think as a human, just kill that gorilla. This gorilla Grodd is like, he keeps making problems. And like you think of all the people and things that would not have been killed if Grodd was killed. This horrible gorilla, whatever, this bad guy. Well, he was. Okay, the thing about Grodd was he was tested on and all this stuff. So it's that expression, hurt people hurt people. We don't know why people hurt each other. We don't. And in my town, Newtown, one of the fathers who lost his daughter on December 14th, 2012, just took his own life. Just a few months ago, killed himself. He had started the Abiel Foundation. His name is Jeremy Richmond, and his foundation, he set up a foundation to try to figure out why would anyone do what that kid did. My husband is a very grounded person, and he said, when you put that much energy and time into something that dark, it can take you over. And we don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying he's right either. That's just an opinion. But in the Flash and the Arrow, and they have different characters in the show that at some point someone else in the show stops them from killing someone. And it's frustrating for the character that wants to kill. But the other characters say, not for them, but it would change you. Killing that person or killing Grodd would change you. And there's there was a scene in The Flash where the Flash has to work with one of the villains, and the villain stops the Flash from killing another villain. Says, like the villain, the villain working with the Flash says, like, no, you don't get to kill. You're Barry Allen, and that's not you. And don't let it, take you over too. Anyway, I know that it's hard to watch injustice, and I know that it's hard to feel yourself as a victim of injustice, and I know it's hard to hold to that principle that these fake superheroes, maybe they're real, wouldn't that be funny if they're like real and they're hiding it? Anyway, that they hold themselves to. That's the thing. They're holding themselves to this standard that at times, if you're watching it, from bed, where you're like chilling and you're like, just kill that thing already, or kill that person already, because so many people have died at the hands of that person. This is not about being a bigger person. This is about you getting that your hate and your hateful actions changes you. It puts you further from your soul, from your pure, raw, loving center. And I do believe every human has the ability to vibrate at 500 level love. And I do believe that there is love and divinity in every single human being. But I know that not everybody is choosing the higher vibrations. But if I fight them to pick the higher vibrations, then I'm lowering my vibration. I'm hurting myself with fighting. And even though I'm not killing, I'm not taking a life, my hate hurts me. Your hate hurts you. It's a perfect system because your own hate hurts you. And as you move toward a spirit-directed life, and as you move towards and set the intention to raise your own vibration, just raise your own vibration towards love, towards peace, towards enlightenment. 700, Enlightened Master, 1,000. I had a client walk through the door vibrating at 600. Peace. And I was like, holy crap, I actually started to cry. Because that's when I knew my vibration was higher than I realized. Because when I first got on this vibration, mine was about 400, which is reason. Which I say, if we could all vibrate at 400, if the collective vibration was 400, we wouldn't see any more wars, because people would be like, oh, I completely disagree. Let's talk about it. But, all these people who would be considered conspiracy theorists, they talk about how we've been manipulated against each other because the military-industrial complex and Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, on and on and on. And people like Max Egan say, if we all woke up simultaneously, we would fix the world in 3 seconds. Because we'd all get it. And we'd all see that we're all beings of light. Not everybody's going to vibrate at love. I get it. But this woman at 600, she wanted to do more. And I said, what good would it be to have a 600 level vibrational human stopping a knife fight on the streets of Bridgeport? If you get killed, the world loses a 600 level vibrational person. So I understand people want to help. They want to jump in and they want to do something, and the ego says, no, you can do more. This 600 level person, her ego was saying, you need to do more. The lower levels. Do more. But it's just like how AA has people in the program sponsoring other people. I used to wonder, it didn't make sense to me. If you're trying to quit drinking, why would you listen to some, if you're trying to climb to the top of a mountain, why don't you just listen to the people who are already on top of the mountain? Why would you listen to someone who's 20 steps ahead of you, And they're like, this way, because what if they're wrong? But those people that are 20 steps ahead of you, you can hear their voice, they can hear your voice. Those sponsors for AA, they hear someone 20 steps ahead of them. And they hear people 20 steps ahead of them, and they hear people 20 steps ahead of them, until there's the person at the top, or the people at the top of the mountain where everybody wants to be. So as you raise your vibration, you're climbing the mountain, and you're calling to the people 20 steps behind you. So I'm not on top of the mountain, but, I'm either hearing someone who is on top of the mountain, like Neem Karoli Baba. I know I'm luckier than most people. And not everybody understands me, because they're 40 steps, or they're 60 steps, or 80 steps, or 100 steps below. But there are people 20 steps below me or less that can hear me. And those are the people that I have to pull with me to the new platform. And I don't want to ask people to get me subscribers on YouTube, because I need 1,000 to live stream, and I have 69 right now. I have a little bit of a long way to go, but the Breck commercial, they tell 2 friends, and so on and so on and so on. So, if you want to get, subscribe to Renegade Yoga YouTube, I don't think I put too many videos on. I don't think it'd be obnoxious, but You don't have to watch them. Just if you subscribe, then YouTube lets me do stuff. I don't monetize my videos because I don't want them interrupted. So I don't make any money off YouTube, which is fine. It's not what I want to do anyway. Not there. Like I just want ease. I just want everybody to have an easy time climbing the mountain. So one of the things that's holding us all back collectively, one of the major things holding us all back collectively are people who think they're doing something, but they're actually the ones holding us back. And it's all ego related. It's all hate has no home here. I'm doing something. Well, you're preaching about hate, and you think you know what's in someone else's mind, and you feel really good about calling someone else a racist or a bigot or a misogynist when you're not looking up the definitions, or you don't care and you just feel good. That's your ego. That's collective hatred. Feels like love, because the ego is very clever. Very clever. And if more people just focused on raising their own vibration and less energy and time trying to police the thoughts of other people, because it doesn't matter what someone else is thinking. You know, it doesn't matter. If I hate a racist, or if I hate, there's someone that I believe is guilty of the most heinous crimes against humanity. Now, if I hate that person, I'm at war. I have to love that person. I don't love their behavior. Gandhi said, love the sinner, hate the sin. I say, love the sinner, don't love the sin. You know, just don't love the sin. You're free to not love the sin. So this person I think is so guilty. I would like to see them held accountable, of course. I would love to see them held accountable. I do not want any violence incited against this person that I think is guilty beyond any doubt. I want them held accountable, and I want everyone who thinks that they are guilty, as I think they are, to bless them, to forgive all that they've already done. Forgive it. You know? Respect their free will choice. To call is all the pain and misery, and bless them anyway, and love them anyway. Don't love their behavior. Want to see them held accountable, okay, but no incitement of violence, because that will change you. Love them anyway. Don't love their behavior. Hold them accountable. Now, when I was young, I thought that there was a way to stop the fighting. But there really isn't. It's always going to be happening. There's always going to be some sort of fight. Now, if we all collectively vibrated 400 reason, I do believe that we won't have any more war, because people will be able to see who's trying to put us at war. And like WikiLeaks, Julian Assange, WikiLeaks says, you know, if wars can be started with lies, then peace can be started with truth, and that's why he started what he did. So here's where we are. We're just where we are. And as things start to come out, like not against the Catholic Church, as behaviors are coming to light, people who have been asleep and don't know about these behaviors are going to say, oh my God, that's terrible. And what we need to remind ourselves of, remind yourself, it's not terrible, it has been terrible, and now it's coming to the light to be stopped and healed. Okay, so if more things start making their way into mainstream, reality, that more and more people start raising their vibration and waking up and sensing. I had a client yesterday, highly intuitive, highly empathic, capable of amazing healing work, like ridiculous. The only So what's keeping her away from it is she is disempowered. So she wants to be safe and protected from any negativity. And that's not the way it works. You cannot change the outer world to keep yourself safe. You have to empower yourself so that anything that would be painful to a disempowered person is easily handled as if it's a hangnail. It's uncomfortable and I don't like it, but I bless them, I forgive them, I respect their free will choice to be mean or hurt me, and I love them anyway. So, in this country, in the United States, only U.S. people. Oh no, I do have someone that's not United States. Okay, so in this country, we have people thinking, using energy, using time, using resources to try and make everything easier for other people in this country. Easier, better, acceptance, beating the drum of non-acceptance. And there are actual slaves in Libya, and there are horrendous things happening. That is only happening because the darkness covers the lower, and it's what it is. It's lower. It's the low collective consciousness. So the lower collective consciousness, the lower collective vibration. We're only about 200, which is courage. Our collective vibration is about 200. That low collective consciousness is like a veil of secrecy. It's like a big black blanket that covers all this stuff. And then people are wound up to go fight each other in our country instead of saying, you know what, I'm fine. I'm all right. That thing that hurt me so deeply that I felt like a victim of, I'm now empowering myself above it, and I see it for what it is, and I can handle this, and I don't need you to change. I changed myself into an empowered person, and I'm not disempowering myself and making you enable me by you change your behavior. So that's what's happening. So all these do-gooders, beating the drum of racism, beating the drum of hatred, and then they are, programmed by CNN and all these other places to see this. The red MAGA hat is a great example. It's a racist hate symbol. It's a red hat that says "Make America Great Again." There's a huge group of people worldwide who share information online secretly, and what they mean is they want to get rid of corruption. So that's what it means. It means clean out not just the United States government, all governments. It sees connections. It sees trafficking. It sees using the military for really dark Agenda 21 stuff. You don't have to believe in it. I'm just saying, but unless people just focus on raising their own vibration and empowering themselves, raising their own vibration, as soon as you start working on yourself, your third eye can start opening and you can start seeing. And the more people that see, that's what's called waking up. And I'm not talking about woke, because woke is the problem. Because the people who are so woke are the ones thinking they're doing something by policing the minds of others. Calling it out. But you're calling it out so much, you're creating it. I know people who have created a world around them that other people share, and they think everyone is racist. You're creating a lot of pain for yourself that way. What's his name? Morgan Freeman told Morley Safer a long time ago. He says, well, how do you stop racism? He said, you stop talking about it. And I know people think, oh, we know we have to point it out so we can end it. Well, the way you're pointing it out is creating it. It's perpetuating it. You can spread love, be peace, be the change you wish to see in the world. Look for the hate in you and weed those weeds, pull those weeds. Look for the fights in you. Who are you fighting? What are you fighting? My daughter will say things to me like, you're the worst mother ever. All right. Okay. You're terrible. Okay. I wish I picked another mother. Okay. And I used to say, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I'm not sorry. Because I think it's healthy for her to feel like that. And then 90% or something is model behavior. So I just show her what it looks like to say, I refuse to fight this fight. Okay, well, I love you. Well, I don't love you. Okay. It's very empowering to be the peaceful warrior instead of the fool that reacts. I had these people screaming in my face. The walkers, they used to fly with Reliant when I flew with Reliant. No one wanted to fly these people. They were awful. I was supposed to fly my friend Yvonne. It was her birthday. I had a birthday present for her. And the Rockefellers were being flown by my boss. And they weren't back on time. So I had to fly the walkers. It's like, oh. So I didn't get to fly my friend and give her a present. I had to fly one of the worst families we ever had. So they're standing out there waiting, and I got in. I switched planes, pre-flighted. They're glaring at me, and they're tapping their toe, and they are so just hateful. And you know, those kinds of people made me hate rich people. Hate rich people when I was younger. You know, it's like. So that became my block to wealth. I still have it. I liked myself when I was poor. I trusted myself when I was poor and living in my car. And I just had a kite. And I would just fly my kite on the beach in Florida. I lived in my car. And it sucks living in your car. But I was grateful to have a car. Anyway, go see the 99-cent movie at midnight. So I could get so tired I just pass out. And I parked in my grandfather's nursing home parking lot. It was an adventure. I've had a few different adventures in my life. And flying the walkers, they're so rude. They saw me land. They saw me run around and switch planes. And I wanted to get their little asses to Nantucket as fast as possible, drop them off. So they're sitting there, and the father is in the front seat. The co-pilot seat. We flew single pilot most of the time, and he's just nasty and glaring at me, and he starts ranting and raving. And I looked at him and I said, "Look, you're interfering with the duties of a crew member right now. You can either shut up and I'll fly you safely to Nantucket, or we stop right now and you wait for Phil to come back. Which is it?" And he did not want me to have any kind of power, even though I'm the only one there that knew how to fly a plane. So he goes, I said, "What?" He goes, "I'll be quiet." I said, "All right." So we take off. He's quiet, but I can feel him festering. This is before I knew I was empathic and what empathic was. And this is before I knew what being a healer was and that there was such a thing as being a healer. I had no idea at this time. So I didn't realize, like, when you're empathic, other people's emotions affect you so badly that you end up like, you're set up for emotional blackmail because you just want them to feel better so you can feel better. That's why you end up like hating people, because until you empower yourself above your gift of empathy, it feels like you're at the mercy of all these other people. And you throw yourself under the bus to make them happy so that you can just relax. So, you appease other people to just to be able to relax. But anyway, I think that empathic people, once they get their gift of empathy and they put it in its place and they empower themselves, I think that we have an easier time maintaining peace and saying, no, you're not going to steal my joy. You're not going to steal my peace. No, not going to let it happen. I'm in charge here. I have the higher vibration and I am holding the peace. So anyway, if you're empathic, if other people's emotions really affect you and you feel like you hate people or whatever, you're probably just empathic and you need to take a Reiki class. And my website should be up after September 19, renegadeyogi.life, so I can help you. But back to this walker story. So I went over, so eastbound, so I must have been like 9,500 or something like this, to catch the tailwinds, to get out there faster. And I wasn't pressurized, so a bag of chips, he was already like really wound super tight. He was already pissed that this stupid little pilot girl was holding all the power. And he was just this ticking time bomb sitting there. I could feel it. And then a bag of chips exploded. I mean, because without the pressurization, all the bags of chips like puff up and one blew. And he freaked out. And I just looked at him and I said, it's a bag of chips. We'll be all right. And he's like, I said, it's just, he goes, why did that happen? I said, because we're at a higher altitude. I want to go down right now. I said, nope, I'm taking advantage of the tailwinds up here and we'll be starting down soon. And he's like, I don't care about getting there faster. I said, well, it's not up to you. And you said you'd be quiet. So he shuts his mouth, but he's like so mad. So as soon as we touch down, we land, I touch down and I'm taxiing it, he starts going off because now he doesn't need me anymore. Now he can be, he doesn't owe me anything anymore. He doesn't have to be quiet to get what he wants. He's already gotten what he wants and now he's opening up. He is unloading. So I say to my angels, what do I do now? And they're like, just feel what you feel. And I'm like, I'm in my head going, I feel my blood pressure rising. And they're like, good, what else? I'm like, I feel myself sweating. Good, what else? I feel whatever. It's going on and on. I was just acknowledging what was happening in my body. So what I didn't have words for it at the time, but it was this being screamed at is happening for me, not to me. I'm not a victim in this situation with Jim Walker screaming at me. It's not happening to me. I'm not a victim of Mr. Walker. I am empowering myself through the experience of being screamed at. I'm standing my ground. I'm not engaging in this tantrum. And I was using that to do my inner work, do my spiritual empowerment. Although I didn't have the words for it. I was just following my guidance. My guidance was do nothing. Just notice what's happening. What is happening now? This is what's happening now. This is what's happening now. I'm very uncomfortable. And I didn't have the words obviously either then too, but I could hear the voice of my ego reacting. And I had just read the book, or years ago, was The Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. The peaceful warrior acts and the fool reacts. So I was staying active. That was my whole conscious awareness, was that I'm staying active. I'm not going to react. So in doing nothing, I was just witnessing what's happening to my meat suit. What's happening outside me, what's happening inside me. Just notice, witness. So I was becoming the witness observer position. And this is before healer training, the healer school in Sedona. So I was doing all this stuff, just pure purely guided. Witness, 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 notice, notice, notice. This is what I'm doing now without resistance. There was no resistance because I was intrigued by what was happening. A lot like when I was in labor and the pain was like, I can't believe I'm not dead right now. Like, impressed with, sort of like, wow, I would have thought that I would die. But this level of pain, I wouldn't expect to still be alive. Just witnessing, I'm still alive. Isn't that interesting? So, this was happening for me, not to me. And at some point, it became this thing where, not that I felt sorry for Jim Walker, I felt not even compassion, which is love plus understanding. I didn't care that Jim Walker was experiencing a tantrum, and I knew his blood pressure was up. You could see the veins popping out of his neck, and what he was saying made no sense. And then when he said a lie, I would say, well, that's not true. And then then their child, because their parents were unglued on me because they were pissed that they had to be quiet for an hour, and the child, like 7 or 8, said, "Stop being mean to my parents, my mom and dad. You're being so mean." I said, "That's not true. They're yelling at me." Just like that. Exactly like that. While the parents are going off on me, her reality was that I'm standing there being mean to her parents while they're both unloading on me and I was engaged. So they're like, the wife's like, "I feel sorry for the poor sucker that's gonna marry you," and just like tearing me apart. So there was a point at which, while this was all happening, when I started becoming empowered and started becoming aware that empowerment was happening. I was transforming. I was allowing the tantrum. It was getting easier and easier. I started noticing I could control my blood pressure. So I felt my blood pressure go up, and I said, no, back to neutral or whatever. I was like, telling my autonomic nervous system to go back into the parasympathetic mode now. Parasympathetic mode now. Like, calm down. And this exterior reality of the tantrum directed at me by 2 people. It was like 2 people on me. Wow, look at me. Wow, look. I'm controlling my blood pressure. I'm controlling my sweat glands. I'm putting myself, now, while I'm getting screamed at, I'm putting myself in a parasympathetic mode. Wow, who'd have thought that I could do this? So, it was so freaking cool. And it was such a neat experience that I became grateful for the experience of being screamed at while I was being screamed at. And then, I guess the best way I could describe it is like proud of myself, cheering myself on. And it's just empowerment. It was like, whoa, it was almost becoming like addictive. Like, I wonder how powerful I could get. It was awesome. I'm telling you. It's so cool when you find yourself in a position where you're potentially triggered and you're like, wow. I'm like, and so then I say now, like, eat it. Like, I'm eating it. I was like eating it. I was like, I'm taking the tantrum directed at me by 2 grown adults screaming at me now, and I'm eating it and becoming more and more powerful. It's like my spinach and I'm Popeye. It's like, holy crap. So anyway, bringing it back to the point that all is happening for you, not to you. Keeping that mindset and weeding out your own hate, your own fighting, and call out your own ego. When you want to call out someone else's hate, someone else's racism, someone else's misogyny, someone else's this or someone else's negativity, someone else's wrong think, when you start policing someone else's mind and stop and pull the weeds of hatred, and pull the weeds of fight, and pull the weeds of self-righteousness in your own body, mind, heart. Pull your own weeds. Thich Nhat Hanh had, and I'm probably going to get this wrong, it's a long time ago, but Thich Nhat Hanh recorded this thing that I listened to. And the way I interpret it is, this is what you're going to get. It's my interpretation of what Thich Nhat Hanh recorded. Think of yourself as a house. It's like there's a basement, first floor, second floor, third floor, and in the basement are seeds of every kind planted in the dirt in the basement. The ones you focus on, the ones you feed, are the ones that will grow strong to the first floor, second floor, third floor. So if you feed and water the seeds of love and the seeds of peace and the seeds of joy, they will grow and grow and grow to the first floor, second floor, third floor. The seeds of hate and all kinds of negativity also exist in you, in everyone. So the seeds you see in other people, and then there's the expression, we hate in others what we deny in ourselves. And when you see it in other people and you hate it, it's your contrast. Look for those weeds inside you and pull your own weeds. So, whatever you hate or think you hate, you're going to serve yourself in the world much, much better if you just see your contrast and then you use it. It's happening for me, not to me. I'm not a victim of this person. Okay? Your ego imports motive in other people. They put that MAGA hat on because they're racist or whatever. You know, that's called importing motive. Okay, well, that's a black Jewish woman and she's a racist. Like, okay, does that even make sense? If it does, that's called cognitive dissonance, and you're hurting you're allowing your ego to tell you these stories of self-righteousness, make you feel good about yourself by making someone else bad. Wrong think. They have wrong think. Which is fine. You're probably not listening to me, or you're not understanding what the hell I'm saying, or you think I'm wrong. And that's fine. I don't care. Pull your own weeds of importing motive. Pull your weeds of self-righteousness. If you're hating someone else, you're not blessing, forgiving, respecting their free will choice, and loving them. So pull your own weeds, and then you'll see you'll be able to love them anyway, because that is the way forward. I'm sorry to tell you, the only way forward to the peaceful, loving world you seek is to be peace, is to be love. And the way to do that is to pull your own weeds of hate and self-righteousness. But I still love you with all your weeds. I still bless you. I forgive all your weeds. I respect your free will choice not to weed those weeds, because it's fun to listen to your ego story of how loving and what a good person you are and all your virtue signaling. It feels so good. Still love you. Okay?